Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, you know, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil. Having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.
For generations, fans of IndyCar could only dream of stepping into the cockpit and feeling the rush of going wheel to wheel at over 200 miles per hour. Thanks to the latest in sim racing technology, we can get one step closer. Talented, fearless drivers battle it out in virtual race cars to claim supremacy at some of the world's most demanding tracks. This is the RIL, Schaeffer's IndyCar Series, presented by Raceverse.
Hello, I am Gary Gatto, and the voice is getting slightly better. And welcome to Race First coverage of Round 11 of the Revolution Indy League Schaeffer IndyCar Series Summer 2022 season, coming to you from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Grand Prix course for the Chocolate Taco. Yes, you heard it right. The Chocolate Taco Memorial Grand Prix, presented by Spratti Motorsports. As always, joining me for expert analysis in the booth, not necessarily for chocolate tacos, but for camaraderie and the fact that we both like racing. He's the weekend editor at Jalopnik.com and co-host of the Motorsport 101 podcast, and he has a voice much better than mine right now. Please welcome the Ryan Eric King. Ryan, we got 2 races to go. The points championship is tight as ever. I think this is the place where we want to be.
Yeah, no way to end the season like here in Indianapolis at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Part of me kind of always hopes that the IndyCar Series considers finishing their season here at the Speedway.
Again.
But it's that we can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first of the last 2 rounds takes place here at a track that we've become very familiar with over the past couple of years, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. Oh.
Yeah, and this is the new scan.
Yes, a new scan they definitely did this new scan because IndyCar was coming here for the second time this year. It wasn't for the other race that happened the day after.
No, of course not.
And it's a lot updated. It's not a slightly, altered and modified version of the old Formula One course anymore. This is road markings, everything, all the details are there if it were set up for the IndyCar Series.
And speaking of the points, let's take a look at those critical points right now. As Bruno Miranda, who had the drive to survive last week, is your points leader by looks like 9 points over Caleb Bency.
Yeah.
And Nicholas Johnson there is still hanging on in third. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we got Bency back by 9 points, and Johnston, he's only 15 points back. It is very tight at the top, and even then, for the slightly lower positions, we have Dakota Monet on 248, and we have Nate Siefer on 224, and we have a tie for 6th at the moment. Gavin Sanders on 221, along with the boss man, Matt Houston.
So the top 10 looks pretty fluid at the moment, but the championship will definitely boil down to these top 3: Miranda, Bency, Johnston. Johnston on the provisional pole as we got about 20 seconds left with a 1:11.957. Miranda right there with him with a 1:12.119 in P3. And we're looking for Caleb. I don't know if this maybe is a week he's going to miss or not, but I do not see him in the on the timing screen.
Yeah, that definitely hurt his points chances if he does not compete tonight. And in terms of just the road races in general, that, you know, looking at qualifying right now, we have a decent spread in terms of time throughout the field. We have a decent spread in time, but that doesn't mean that it's just going to be those lone guys at the top. They're going to have to deal with lap traffic, and as we've seen so far this season, lap traffic has been unpredictable.
That's for sure. All IndyCar track records you need to know here from the Indy GP road course. Of course, only IndyCar ran here. This has not been shared by Formula One. Also the same course shared more by NASCAR at times. Track qualifying record set by Will Power in 2017 with a speed of 1:29.687, and we have just a few seconds. We can convert this to best laps in mile per hour. So it's a little bit slower than Will Power's track record. As Garner now is the on the pole with a 1:20.245. Career wins leaders here. Well, if it's not Will Power, it's nobody else really. Will Power has 5 wins, followed by Simon Pagenaud with 3.
Yeah, it is certainly a place that it's been dominated by Penske over the years that we've been running here, multiple times per year. But yeah, as we come to a close here, it seems like the pole time, as you said, is a 1:11.6, and the next driver in line is Alex van der Zandt with a 1:11.9, so 0.3 separating the top 2, which is a bit wider than you'd expect even on a road course.
Well, there it is. We're getting ready to grid up here. And if you won't mind helping me with the starting lineup here, we will get this going right away.
Yes, as I just mentioned, we have Brody Gardner on pole, and alongside him on the front row is Alex van der Zandt. In third, on the second row, we have Nicholas Johnston and the points leader, Bruno Miranda. Third row, we have Gavin Sanders and Logan Spieth. Fourth row, we have Nate Sanders and Dakota DeMague. Fifth row, Michael LeTurk and Matt Houston. The next row, we have Nasiga Yoshikawa.
You got it?
And, and Frankie Franchica. Next row, Zachary Plumpf, and World War III, Will Weisbrook III. Next row, we have Peyton Hubbard and Johan Shikarzy. Next row after that, we have Matthew Short and JJ Wang. Row after that, Rhett Nichols and Christian Jasper. Row after, we have Jonathan Libertatore. Fumbling over myself for a second there. And then we have Shane Coogan, then Matt Cosgrove, and Nicholas Asidro. Oh, I'm gonna butcher this.
This is going to be, this Paul, we apologize in advance.
Paul Mirko Zizek, and Daniel Miglin. Then we have Christopher Kresge, Peter Johnchek, Tommy Cook, Joseph DeCiro, and last but not least, with no time left, Hunter Engrave.
All right.
Oh, we're rolling off the start, the pace lap.
We're getting a full pace lap here. So we've left off where we were last week with Alex and Brody up at the front.
Now, the one thing that I slightly dislike about this current layout of the course, while it definitely helps for overtaking, turn 1 here is always a mess on lap 1. It is hard to get through here cleanly, even if you're a professional. If you watched when IndyCar raced here most recently, turn 1 was a mess. We saw multiple multi-car pileups.
Yeah, we sure did, and we saw a couple people nearly get taken out for good in the Cup race there in turn 1.
Yeah, and the Cup race, the result was affected by what happened in turn 1 on the last restart, where there ended up being not an outright disqualification, but a penalty for cutting turn 1 because of the lack of room there. There is a shortcut road to avoid turn 1 in case there's a large accident or such, and a number of drivers just preemptively just went down the shortcut lane and gained an advantage doing so. I hope, and I do believe, that everyone in the field tonight will not just unnecessarily drive down that road.
Kind of reminds me of the first turn. I forget where it was in Sochi.
Yes.
But Alonso just said, yeah, I'm just going to cut it, and ended up making up 4 spots, and no one said a thing. And he was talking about it the whole week. He was like, I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to cut it. And he cuts it, makes up 4 spots, and no one says a thing.
Yeah, because the way they wrote the ground rules for that track and here in Indianapolis was essentially you could just keep your foot down and just go. Like, you're allowed to shortcut the first corner if you take this on paper slower route. The only thing is they never intended anyone to just attack it full throttle.
Well, we are watching from the Race First 1 airship here. We'll watch the start from here. Pace car is off. It is under the command, the field now is under the command of Brody Gardner as he's bringing this 31 car field down to take a green flag here. At 45 laps, I believe, tonight. So settle back, and here we go. Green flag on the course. Brody Gardner, big lead.
Yep, that's where you want to be, big lead, as we all head into turn 1. See, up 2 wide behind him for third. Steady as she goes as most of the field gets through cleanly. Okay.
And we got Bruno Miranda starting from the pits. But that was for a penalty, so he has a long ways to go.
And we already got a long ways back to second here. Ooh, Van de Zandt has some ground to make up. Though, we neatly move down the single file. This is the point of the race where you start, sizing out the drives around you, see where you can get an advantage, plan your overtake.
Nate Schaeffer going long into the infield portion there. Oh, that's Frankie Francica doing a little off-roading there as well.
Yeah, we did have a bit of chaos on the chicane onto Holman Boulevard, because we have JJ Wang with half a front wing. Oh. Let's see, go back up the field. Let's see, Gavin Sanders now in second.
Yeah, it looks like we had Will Weisbroods in the pits with damage, along with Christian Jasper in the pits with damage. Tommy Cook, looks like he's just kind of making some laps here very safely. But Paul Milojajic, and I'm hoping I'm saying that right, he is, looks like he is out already with an extended toe. He might return later, but already a couple cars making appearances in the pits due to some broken appendages.
Yeah, on the first lap. On the first lap, we had a bit of chaos in the field through the loop into the chicane onto Holman Boulevard, and some people unfortunately went over the gravel and into the tires.
Yeah, that left chicane there is very fast.
It is very fast in pretty much any car you drive on the circuit, because it is very inviting for you to just attack it, just hop over the curbs and just try to straight line as much as possible, to the point where when the Cup cars first came here onto the road course, they destroyed the curbs. Let's see, as Brody Gardner goes on to start his fourth lap of the race, he's already pulled out a 2.5 lead on Gavin Sanders, who's taken second place.
Hearing that's going to be a pretty easy one-stopper, so not a lot of strategy at hand here.
Yeah. Unless you're Ferrari, you try to, maybe you can make a two-stop work.
Out-strategize yourself.
It's like Firestones don't have it as a suggested option, but you could two-stop. It's going to be somewhat interesting, because while it is a one-stopper, when you take that one stop...
Oh, Gavin going long into the infield, a little under-braking there. It's like Alex Van de Sant closing the gap a little bit.
Yeah, make up every tenth where you can.
Yeah, we're making it back with the push to pass.
Yeah, in situations like this, races like this on these kinds of road courses where you don't have to make one stop, this is where push to pass really earns its name, where you try to make up the time yourself. And once you close up to the car in front of you, that's when you utilize the push to pass to get that delta you need to make a move.
Logan Spath with a strong showing here in P5.
Yep, Spath in P5 with the Turk right on his tail, and Will Weisbrook the third. He's a lapped car in front of them. That's going to be interesting.
Yep, the Turk up 3 spots here at the start of this race. Right behind him is Nate Seifert. Right behind Nate Seifert is Zach Flaum. Zach Flaum is up 5 spots since the start of this race. A good start for him. Another fast riser back in P10, Johan Shirazi. He is up 6 spots.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting once, you know, there was definitely 1 or 2 positions gained through other people's misfortunes, but that's part of road racing. It's being able to get from the start to the finish.
Well, here is the biggest gainer of the race so far. P14, Hunter Ingrave started shotgun on the fill, up 17 spots.
Wow. Now, that's just impressive, regardless of any circumstances. To get past that many cars in just 5 laps.
Yeah. I mean, some he passed in the kitty litter, right? Some you pass on pit road, but I mean, the others you had to do it legit, and he did not use push to pass at all. He still has 10 pushes left, and he has done that all natural. So great on him. So he has worked his way up to the 14th spot. Currently watching Dakota DeMay just worked his way into the top 10. It's one of Dakota's better paint jobs I like there.
Yeah. It's certainly, you see it a lot in sim racing and iRacing, where due to certain circumstances, sometimes by choice, people like to start further back in the field, and they are genuinely faster than most of the drivers around them. And there's obviously some security in starting further back and not being involved in the turn 1, lap 1 chaos, but you give yourself a chance. You put yourself at risk at potentially ending up in a dangerous situation trying to pass slower cars.
Right.
And for a lot of people, it's seemingly paying off.
In an effort to kind of save my voice, a lot of the stuff that I would normally read in the show, I'm going to kind of hold off this week. And but the best medicine you can give me is thumbs up. We would really appreciate that. Even better if you could subscribe to the channel. Like, share, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. Click the bell for weekly reminders. You got a lot more racing to go here in this racing season for Raceverse and iRacing. Of course, we got next week is Championship Wednesday here in the RIL. Next Monday is Championship Monday in Indy Fixed. Next Thursday will be Championship Thursday in the Brazilian Stock Car League that we have. So make sure to keep checking back here on Raceverse. And like I said, the best medicine that you can give me personally is you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because we are on our mission to 1,000 subscribers, and we got less than 100 to go, and we cannot get there without you.
Yeah, every subscriber matters, and as our colleagues over at MVC would say at the end of May, next week for Raceverse, it's championship season.
Right, it's championship season next week. We get all of our leagues coming to a conclusion. Nice timing, with the exception of the FIS. FIS still they'll continue their season with their UK tour at Brands Hatch.
Oh man! Anytime I think IndyCar and Brands Hatch, I think about the 2-race road trip that effectively killed USAC at Champ Car, where I think it was either a 77 or 78 season.
78, and it was they went from Silverstone to Brands Hatch. Go ahead.
And USAC plans this overseas tour, which on paper, obviously amazing. Formula One, like single-seater racing in Britain, has never been more popular. It's a perfect time for USAC to try to set up a regular stop in Britain. And they do this without informing the tire supplier they're gonna go on an overseas trip. And I don't know about you, Gary, but it's seemingly, if you're gonna hold 2 races overseas, you're gonna need tires to do that.
Just a few. Yeah, just a few.
And obviously that and a number of other factors led to the creation of kart for the 79 season. And it's just one of those things where looking back, it seems obvious that you shouldn't do stuff like that when you're trying to run a top level racing series. But at the time, people were like, nah, this is fine. This is fine.
Yep, and that was a part of a 2-race doubleheader. First race won by AJ Foyt. And that was his last, one of only 2 of road course wins that he were official championship road course wins. Of course, he did win at Le Mans. He has won some other road course races here and there. But in terms of IndyCar road course wins, he has out of 67 career wins, 65 are on ovals. Only 2 the year prior. He had a win at Motorsport. But then backed it up with another win at Silverstone. That was a race that was predominantly dominated by Al Unser Sr. until he had a suspension failure. But another oval racer that's not known for road course prowess was on the pole that day. The flying Hawaiian Danny Ungaius was on the pole for that particular race. So a who's who of IndyCar royalty finished on that podium. It was Foyt, Mears, and Tom Sneva. So right there you have 9 Indy 500 wins. You probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 12, 13 IndyCar championships represented right there on that podium. So, no one to really say, who's those guys on the podium? Those are all well-known IndyCar drivers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the extenuating circumstances that we described prior was largely the reason why any IndyCar series going to Britain, IndyCar didn't return to Britain for, 30 years?
Yeah, 2003, I think, yeah.
Looking back at the race, it does seem like we have Nicholas Johnston slowly moving his way up the field, closing in on Alex Van der Zandт.
We've been watching that battle right here and seeing that slowly tick down to under a second now to 0.6.
Yep, and for Nicholas Johnston to keep himself in this championship fight, every position is gonna matter. Because looking through the field, seemingly, unless I missed him, no, I'd have to check to see how his recovery drive is going, because currently Bruno Miranda's in 19th.
Yeah, let's take a look back at Bruno Miranda here. There he is, actually in 18th.
In 18th now. So, obviously he had the service penalty at the start of the race, and for him, it's going to be damage limitation, because as it stands, he's likely not going to be leaving here tonight the points leader.
Yeah, it is damage management. That's a way to call it.
Yeah, and it is one of the aspects that is, in some ways, comparatively to some of the ovals that IndyCar races at, one of the benefits to being on a road course, where it is a lot easier to use your natural, or learn driving ability to make your way through the field and get yourself out of a bad situation. And if a road course, if someone told me that I had to take a penalty where I have to start from the back of the field, I'm doing it on a road course over the oval. Nine times out of 10.
Yeah. Especially with the way that turn 1 here is on the starts here in Indianapolis. Any number of positions could have been lost if he was in the mid pack versus just starting very safely from pit road. There he is making a position up on Peyton Hubbard. getting one more position, working his way up to P17 now, setting his sights on the boss man, Matt Houston in 16th. Matt representing the Soylent Green car.
The Soylent Green car.
Soylent Green is apparently they're hiring. They need people.
They really need people.
They need people. And he works his way around Matt up to 16th. So just in that little bit of talking about Bruno Miranda, the Storm, as his fans like to call him, he has worked his way up into the 16th spot. And now next up for him, a little bit further up ahead, Shane Coogan.
Yep, further up the road, and Coogan, respectable drive, slowly closing in on Yoshikawa. This is... Things are starting to play out fairly well as we're nearing the end of the first stint. You're probably going to be wanting to get to around 22, 23 before you pit halfway.
Yep. Give yourself some leeway, too.
Let me see what happened. We had a bit of an incident, but yeah, the second and third, they were going through 1 and 2, 3, that complex. They hit some lap traffic, and let's just say one Joseph Ciro wasn't the most accommodating when it came to letting the leaders by.
Ah, okay. So that's why we got Gavin Sanders now to the 4th spot. And so the Ciro's having a hard time.
Yeah, it is not an enviable position.
No, and it is a bit of a new course. That the other course was around for so long that Zachary Flaum is also in a bit of a battle right here in the mid pack. Watching him, Michael DeTurk on pit road for a scheduled stop. But the other course was used for so long that everyone got to know it for so well, and times were so close because just about any IndyCar league season, whatever you raced on here in the service, they always included the Indy Formula One course. And everyone just, it's almost like when you watch people at Road America, is that Road America is on every schedule, and it just, after a while, everyone becomes really, really good there.
Yeah, where just accrued experience over time. Just the more you do something, the better you're going to get at it. And when you make such a big change, like objectively, the new Indianapolis road course, in my opinion, is better than the old version. But it is designed in a way stylistically to be similar to, say, a modern Formula One track where they try to have sharper corners to make overtaking easier. So obviously it's most noticeable in turn 1, but you also see it in turn 7 at the end of Holman Boulevard, and you see it in the entrance to the turn 1 stake pit, where it is just a right angle. If you want to take the optimum line through any of those 3 corners and you're racing someone, you're leaving the door open for them to throw it up the inside.
And we do have the Bruno fan club checking in.
Yeah.
Currently watching a battle here for 7th spot. That is Frankie Francica and Johan Shirazi. One of the closest battles on the racetrack at the moment.
Yes, and if you're not familiar with the new course, as you see here, they're going through this new chicane. And it's not really an overtaking point, but it's a point where you can get real close. And the idea is you draft up behind someone and you close that gap and try to get alongside them into 7 at the end of Holman Boulevard. And also, one of the big differences from the old Formula One course is instead of that being a double hairpin, it's a sweeping S section that was originally put in for the MotoGP bikes.
Yeah, Holman Boulevard. Yeah, you'll see here just momentarily watching this battle between Shirazi and Francesca. Holman Boulevard is the road that runs down the center spine of the speedway right here. This is Holman Boulevard. This connects the North 40 gate to not quite the main gate, but it gets basically to the parking lot to the Hall of Fame Museum.
Yep. And obviously, it's named after Big Tony Holman,
yes,
who purchased the speedway at the end of the Second World War and essentially made it what it is today. Though, recently, I've been reading a book about, it's related, I swear. I've been reading a book about the foundations, and all the work that led up to the passing of the Interstate Highway Act. And one of the people involved in paving a lot of America's major highways before the federal government did it, was Carl Fisher, the founder of the Speedway.
Yes. And
they had an anecdote about him founding the Speedway, and they were able to get some quotes from him. I don't remember if it was sourced from a newspaper article or his personal notes, but I did not know that a certain famous quote from a 1990s science fiction film was actually originally a quote from Tony Holman, because apparently when he told the press after he finished building Indianapolis Motor Speedway, he told the press that he spared no expense. Though, ironically, later that day, a car went into the stands and killed 2 spectators. But if you know what if you know what movie that quote was used in, it is very apropos.
Watching a battle back here that's involving Nicholas Isidro, who is a lap down, Zachary Flaum, and Bruno Miranda. We just watched Hunter Ingrave work his way up now to the outside of the top 20, or top 10. He is now P11, 3 wide. Coming into turn 1, Bruno Miranda into the inside. Oh, and everyone lets everyone through nicely there. So that moves Bruno Miranda up to 13th.
Well, slowly but surely, Bruno making his way up to the front.
Johnston still close to Alex, but not getting any closer in terms of being able to make a position.
Yep. If I was in Bruno's position, I'd be thinking about possibly getting up to 12th or 11th before coming into pit. Just try to stretch the stint out, probably lap 23, 24, 25, and then come in. Because he is running on the black, so he can run a bit longer before deciding to come in.
Well, he has J.J. Wang, who's a lap down right in front of him, and right in front of J.J. Wang is Nagasiya Yoshikawa, and that is a battle for position. That is P12, so that is where he is setting his sights right now. Yoshikawa in a battle with Hunter Ingrave. Hunter Ingrave, who, of course, is up 20 spots, up to P11. They are battling side by side down the front stretch, and Yoshikawa is going to get the position going in the 1.
Very, very impressive driving. Okay, yep. Since that incident earlier with the lap car with the Zero, seems like things with the lap cars have calmed down. If they're more aware of when the leaders are closing in on them.
Yeah, currently showing 24 cars remaining on the track. 19 cars on the lead lap. Michael de Turk is the last car on the lead lap. He just stopped not too long ago.
Yeah, like, probably one of the, if I was a race engineer giving notes to a driver, one of the things I always mention, if we're say start. Oh, we've got contact.
Right in front of Bruno. And I tell you what, I want to rewind that just a little bit. Was there contact with Bruno? Because last thing he needs is, even though he might have a slightly bent wing here. Yeah, I think he does have wing damage, so it's going to have to come at an opportune time here on pit road. But we'll watch this from Bruno's point of view, from his roll bar. Yeah, and there was contact there, unfortunately. And he has a damaged front wing, so he might have to pit earlier, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, unfortunately, like it looked like JJ was. It looked like he was sort of giving Bruno the room to go by, and then just turned in like he was attacking the corner, and there was just nowhere to go. Let's see, is Bruno going to decide to pit this lap afterwards?
Now the wing might have snapped itself back into place. I don't know. It looks like it still might be down. So we have cars on pit road at the moment. Brody Gardner is on pit road. He is done with his service. He is down and away and exiting at the moment. Here comes Bruno Miranda alongside in the turn one. Oh, Bruno bouncing on the curve with old tires. Brody with new tires. Now your leader is Alex Van de Sande, who is on pit road. So Nicholas Johnston is going long.
Yeah, looking at Bruno's wing, yeah, there's certainly end plate damage from when where he made contact. There's some deformation.
I want to thank Spratti Motorsports for sponsoring today's race, the Chocolate Taco Memorial Grand Prix. Apparently he likes his ice cream. But to me, racing and ice cream do not mix. I don't have a very good story with racing and ice cream here at the Motor Speedway. We'll get into that momentarily after this pit stop by Bruno Miranda, our points leader.
Yep, it's going to be vital to the championship to see where Bruno comes out into traffic.
Long road. We're riding along right now along with Bruno Miranda on the roll cage. Roll bar, excuse me. Long road down pit road here.
And Johnston in the in and out cars then.
And Miranda's done. 13.3 to get that front wing taken care of, and he's back underway. Nicholas Johnson down and away. Here comes Alex Van de Sande for position, so Alex will bypass him. Alex has also bypassed Brody Gardner. So, in a change of fortunes from last week, where Brody Gardner beat out Alex Van de Sande has jumped Brody Gardner here at the Brickyard and now leads after 25 of 45 laps.
Well, it's like, ironically, when pit strategy is easy and everyone only has to make one stop, that one stop becomes vitally important.
Yes. Back to Bruno Miranda. He is now in 13th position, and he is looking at about a 3 second gap to Linter Ingrave, who is in P12. So just to reset here as everyone has made their pit stops. Alex Van Assen has picked up the lead. He is your leader. Brody Gardner is P2, last week's winner. Nicholas Johnston, one of our points leaders, he is in P3. Gavin Sanders, there he is in P4. Nate Seifert very quietly has worked his way up to 5th. Logan Spath, very consistently, a great run from him. He has been working hard on his craft here as of late. And he is up to P6. Johan Shirazi, P7. Michael DeTurk, who looks like he has another stop to go, will be a P8. Dakota DeMade, P9. And Matthew Short. There's Matthew Short on the main straight there, P10. So Dakota DeMade looking to make some points up in the points championship.
Yeah, Shebang's hoping to make up some points because obviously without Bensy being in the field today, it is probably a good chance for the drivers, between 4th and 10th to try to make that gap, try to jump a position, put yourself in a good place to secure that top 5 place in the championship standings. Because yes, while everyone would like to win the championship, only one driver can. But it's still an honor to finish the season in the top 10. Well, in the top 5.
And let's, one more time, just to remind people of the point situation. Let's go ahead and take a look at the point situation.
Yeah, so heading into this race, Miranda leads the championship with 311 points. Caleb Bensy not in the field again. He is second with 302. Nicholas Johnston, currently running third, is third in the championship with 296.
He'll jump
Dakota
Bensy.
Yeah, he'll jump Bensy without a doubt. This is where it's going to get a bit iffy on how many points needed to jump Bensy from this point onward. 4th, Dakota DeMade, who is currently sitting in 9th. Then Nate Seifert is 5th in the standings on 224. Tie for 6th, as we mentioned at the start of the day. Gavin Sanders and Matt Houston both sitting with 221 points.
We got a heck of a battle going on, and we got to get out the points between Brody Gardner and Nicholas Johnston, excuse me. Let's go look at that. There's a little brute force going on there. We want to rewind that a little bit. And I'm going to think that Nicholas is probably not very happy about this one. We'll watch as they go side by side in a turn 1.
Yeah, we saw it in real life. Now we're seeing it in the sim. Said it at the start of the race. Turn 1. They're side by side. They go through 1. Johnston gets run off, and then as he rejoins, makes contact with Brody Gardner.
Yep, that's what happens if you don't leave the other guy necessarily enough room. But I'm sure the stewards will be looking at that post-race. That could impact the way that the championship Wednesday kicks off next week. We might have one of the championship 3 actually with an EOL. We'll see if they're going to call that an incident between those two, or going to give one or the other an EOL, or just call it a racing incident.
Oh, like... I don't want to sound like a NASCAR race official and say boys have at it, but Gardner pushes Johnston off. Johnston has nowhere to go to get back on track but through Gardner. True,
very true. Here comes Dakota DeMade for a position on Matthew DeTurk going in the 1. DeTurk just lets him on by. Clean pass.
Yep, how it should be done.
So a good road course race here turning out to be for Dakota here, working his way in the top 10.
Yeah, just with Will Weisbrod. He might be a lap down and in 20th, but he's going to race the other cars around him.
He's the guy that wears that T-shirt. Doesn't matter. Here to race. Here to race. Take a look at a battle here for 10th. Right behind this. This is a Short and a Turk now. Short just trying to send it in there a little bit. Looks like he's a little bit faster than Turk. The Turk on those, he pitted early and he's due for another stop here, but he is on a very well used sort of a pair of alternate tires at the moment.
The tires are crying for mercy, but he keeps pushing.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that the those alternate tires are pretty well worn. He's 14 laps into his current stint versus Short, who's only 6 laps into his current stint.
Yeah, for Short, it's probably thinking about trying to get a good run at it out of that final corner and try to get a move done heading into one. Oh, to Turk, seemingly just able to get an advantage where it matters on some of the corner exits before the long straights, to pull out a gap that's just long enough so he can afford to lose time through the tight twisting sections where the tires have nothing left to give.
Well, Weisbrod is giving P8 Dakota the Main a bit of a run for his money at the moment. This is not a battle for position. This is between the 2 lap cars.
Well, this is a long road to try to unlap yourself from, and there's no Shaman try.
Oh, and I tell you what, though, if there was a lap car that interfered with a top 10 car, especially a driver that's in the top 10 in points as well, I'm not sure the stewards would look too kindly on that. There's racing hard and there's racing smart. And that's going to open the door to the Turk to the inside. The Turk going to get the position with those used tires. But Weisbrod not giving it to him yet. The Turk getting a good exit off that final corner, heading on to the main straight. Now we're going to go 3 wide possibly. Let's take a look. Here comes Short to the inside of Weisbrod.
Now, to each their own. I'm not going to criticize for someone on how to race a lap down, but to me, the game's up when the car behind you attempts a pass. Once after that point, in my own opinion, that's when I just let up and let them by.
Right. Well, and I like to say here within the community, everybody has long memories, and they remember the guy that races them hard for no reason. And they also remember the guy that gives them a break when they need a break. So we will see in the future if Dakota gives any breaks to Will Weisbrod. This is still the closest battle on the racetrack at the moment.
We still have a good battle up for third between Brody Gardner and Gavin Sanders.
Oh yeah, that is really close at the moment.
Oh, close in the 7, but not close enough.
This battle closed rapidly. I'm wondering if maybe Brody has some damage, and I think he does. I think his left front wing might be slightly folded.
Yeah, there's a bit of deform on it.
Alex Vandersand's mom is in the chat. Hey, Mom, how you doing? Alex, your boy is leading the race here. 45 laps ago. Jumped Brody Gardner here, who is currently struggling in the moment.
Oh, aggressive
damage.
defense.
Oh, we got a little contact.
Oh, they both run wide through one, but they keep it on the road. Came through the chicane onto Holman Boulevard.
I think Gavin's going to fall back a little bit here and take another hack at it.
Ooh, he dives it in from deep and hops the
corner. Yeah. It's a good day for the good day for the Team Kamigoya Sunset Arctic cars. They
Without
are
a doubt. Shown pace all day, moving their way up through the field.
Yep. It's just too bad this wasn't an FIS race.
But yeah, last time I saw anyone that aggressive through that section of the track, they were in a car not too dissimilar from Brody Gardner's car, though they were sliding the car through the S's.
Here comes Gavin. Brody, a bit of a Pruitt fade there at the end of contact. And that opens the door for Nate Schaeffer.
Without a doubt, Brody Gardner has half a front wing, and Gavin Sanders recollecting himself.
And he just misses. He just pops through the last chicane, trying to recuperate here. He now has a damaged left front wing now. So now Nate Seifkert's looking for, I'm willing to bet he's salivating a little bit harder now because he has a damaged podium participant in front of him that he is looking to capture here in the closing laps here of this race. Coming up to 10 laps to go.
That's also going to help him out in the championship standings because Gavin was only 3 points behind him.
Something's happening with Bruno. I'm showing damage on his left front, or left side pod.
Yeah, and the side pod's dragging on the track surface.
I wonder maybe if you can go back in time and take a look and see what happened there.
I'm trying to see. Looks like some damage for the past couple laps.
Brody Gardner apparently is going to pit road. He might have got the meatball. So now Nate Seifert has now moved into the bottom step of the podium position. Still looking at monitoring the situation with Bruno Miranda.
So it seems all the way back on lap 27, Miranda made contact while racing Hunter Engrave for 12th.
And they're still racing for 12th right now.
Yeah, they made contact through turn one in a very similar fashion that we saw between Sanders with Gavin Sanders. It's like you said at the start of the broadcast, turn one, it will get you. No, I'm surprised that it might have hampered his pace a little bit. Oh.
Will Zeller, finally some bump drafting. Yes, Will, that's one of his favorite things. I'm surprised that is not a meatball flag. I really am. And here comes the leader right behind this pair right here. So our leader is lapped up to P12.
Because it is affecting Bruno's pace. His car is going marginally slower.
Nicholas Johnson getting a look to the inside of Shane Coogan there for a battle for track position. Shane Coogan currently back in 13th.
Let's see, yep.
And
Bruno nice.
let's Alex right on around there. 8 laps to go.
Yeah, it's like obviously Miranda won't be leaving this road course race with a points lead, but there's always next week.
And that's all there is next week, and he definitely wants to leave here with the damage minimalized. There we go.
Yeah.
And right now he does have Shane Coogan running him down, and I'm sure Bruno wants to keep this position.
Yeah, if he wants to keep the position, and there's some respite in getting lapped. Every time the leader passes you, that's one less lap on your race distance.
Yes. And I tell you what, Hunter Ingrave is not making it easy for Alex Van de Sant.
Okay,
there he goes. He's lit him that way. Maybe he was looking for a better position to pull over and let him by.
Yeah.
Just a rundown of your top 5 at the moment is Van de Sant, your leader. 7 laps to go. He has led since jumping Brody Gardner during pit stops when we had our one and only stop about 15 laps ago. Nicholas Johnson, P2. Right behind him, 2 cars there.
Yeah.
Nate Seifert in P3. Very comfortable P3 at the moment. A Gavin Sanders here in P4. Nursing a damaged car at the moment. And Johan Shirazi worked his way up into the top 5 with the Team Supreme ride as he is now looking at holding off Logan Spath, who's right behind him. Logan, very consistent day, very consistent run. Up at the top 10 all day long. Near the top 5 much of the day. He's in P6. Dakota DeMate has worked his way up to P7. He is in a battle right now with Matthew Short, and we'll watch this right now as Matthew Short is taking a look on the outside now, going down the main straight, trying to take a peek here into turn 1. This is a battle for 7th.
Yep, he has a compound advantage, him on the alternates.
And he gets the position. So Matthew Short up to P7.
Yep. Oh, and it's going to be a close fight between them as they head to the finish. Let's see, and seems Yoshikawa's also making his way up the field. He might catch Dakota, but only time will tell in these closing laps.
Brody Gardner has stopped, pitted to get damage taken care of. He might just be looking to set fast laps here. He just actually set a 1:12.090. I believe the fast is a 1:11.956 by Nicholas Johnston. But Garner on light tanks and new red tires, looking to do a Team Red Bull out there. Hunter Ingrave right behind him for P11. Hunter Ingrave moves over, letting Johnston on by. So right now, only the top 10 are on the lead lap.
Yeah, very Formula One-esque, if you will, to have so few cars in the lead lap near the end. Though it seems after the incidents that we had in the last string of laps, Van de Sant and Johnston league of their own. They are close to 20 seconds clear of Nate Schaeffer.
Oh, something happened with Dakota DeMaid. I think he in a battle with Garner, lit Garner on by, and he brought Yoshikawa with him. And Garner gets in the back of Yoshikawa, and we got contact again.
Oh.
Yoshikawa toes. So a top 10 day by Yoshikawa done.
Yeah.
The race stewards race stewards are going to be looking at a number of events. That moves Hunter Ingrave up to the top 10. And it brings up Bruno Miranda one spot closer to the top 10. He is now 11th. It says he's down 7 spots, but remember, he had to start from the pits. Or at least an EOL, let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's an EOL. And especially with him driving around with effectively a sail attached to the left-hand side of his car.
A big old parachute. He's easily down, what, 10 miles per hour on the straights?
Yeah.
Easily?
He's seconds off the pace. Let's see. Gardner is going to keep circulating and just get to the end here instead of coming in for a new front wing.
Well, they'll have to go to another one of Andretti Motorsport Autosports teams to get a new front wing for him.
Oh, I bet they've gone through a lot of equipment this season.
My favorite back, and he's still doing a little bit today, not so much. Back when teams used to mix and match parts to kind of throw together a car and then they would paint it later. My favorite car like that, it was always the Team Menard mix and match car where you'll have like the orange body with the green nose and the bright yellow side pods, and they just like, it's the Glidden side pods, but it's the Quaker State nose, you know, it's the hodgepodge car. I'm sure there's pictures of it out there somewhere. I remember seeing it before, that John Menard would always do one form or another, just kind of piecing together that third or fourth car. And if someone was ever painting a car for, there's a car off there in turn 1 portion. Anyway, he's painting the car for training paints. I think that would be an interesting car that someone should do.
Yeah, like nowadays we get that, you know, if someone crashes in 500 practice and they want to get out the same day, or I think we saw that for the couple runners during the first trip down to Nashville, where IndyCar is a lot more like.
Oh, Alex loses it going to the third one.
No.
Nicholas Johnson passes him. That was on the white flag.
No. Oh, Alex Van de Zandt, what have you done? Johnston is gonna walk this one.
I am absolutely speechless, and I don't know what to say. I feel gutted for Alex, but you know, Nicholas Johnson, you got to drive to survive. You got to drive not just your race, but you got to drive the racetrack, and that's exactly what he did here. He's just a few turns away from making the most out of the trip to Indianapolis and going into the last race of the season on the oval. He will be your points leader. And Nicholas
just
Johnson,
moments like this,
doing the
moments
victory.
like this, yeah, as Johnson crosses the line for the win.
Don't know what to say. Nicholas Johnson is your winner. Alex Van de Zandt cruises on by, and yeah, he's not happy. Not happy. and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Nate Schaeffer finishes third. Very quiet run for him. Gavin Sanders going to finish fourth. Johan Shirazi got passed by Logan Spath. Logan Spath's going to get himself a top 5 for Team Raceverse. Logan Spath. Great finish on his part, top 5. Johan Shirazi, P6. Matthew Short looking for a top 10 here. He works his way to 7th. Here comes Brody Gardner with one wing. The one wing angel makes it. He is going to be 8th. And Dakota DeMaid will be the last car in the lead lap. He will finish 9th, and that with Hunter Ingrave finishing at 10th, that's your top 10.
Wow.
So, let me just reset some stuff here momentarily.
Now, recollect ourselves, get in the moment, because,
And before we go to the interview room, let's look at tonight's final results here. The Spratti Motorsport Chocolate Taco Memorial Grand Prix. You go ahead.
Yes, going with the results, our unexpected race winner and new points leader, Nicholas Johnston. He wins the race by 1.4 seconds over who we thought was going to win, Alex Vanderzand. Third place, we have Nate Schaeffer. Fourth place, Gavin Sanders. Fifth place, Logan Spath. Sixth place, Johan
Shirazi, yeah.
It's crazy. Seventh place, Matthew Short. Eighth, Brody Gardner. Ninth, Dakota DeMaid. 10th, Hunter Engrave. 11th place, Bruno Randa. 12th, Shane Coogan. 13th, Matt Houston. 14th, Nicholas Tuchert. 15th, Matt Cosgrove. 16th, Peyton Hubbard. 17th, Will Weisberg the third. 18th, Christian Jasper. 19th, JJ Wang. 20th, Peter Donchak. 21st, we have Nagisa Yoshikawa.
There you go.
22nd, Jonathan Libertador. 23rd, Nicholas Isidro. 24th, Frankie Franchica. 25th, Zachary Plouf. 26th, Joseph DeCiro. 27th, Christopher Kresge. 28th, Rent Nichols. 29th, Daniel Miglin. 30th, Tommy Cook, and as he informed me in the chat, 31st, last but not least, I have it here, Paula Mikolajczyk.
Okay, all right. And that's what we like. Thank you for telling us.
Yep, and that's our field today. Interesting race we got, Gary. Like, I always say this every road course race. Oh man, it's probably going to be decided early. We go in, we actually run the thing, and usually at the end of it, our jaws are on the floor.
And let's get into the interview room here real quick. Let's bring up Nate Schaeffer, and I'll go ahead and let you conduct the interview.
Okay.
Front.
All right. Hey, Nate, we got you in the booth here.
Yep. Hey, Nate, you're here with Ryan and Gary. Interesting race from you today. Slowly clawed your way up the field. Did you think you were going to finish today on the podium?
No, I did not. It was Yeah, zero practice yet again due to having to find a charging cord. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but last night I ran half that race, the FIS race without sound. I didn't have a charging cord until I got home today, and I only was home for 15 minutes before the race started. So I had zero practice tonight. And then, yeah, qualifying was what it was. I went off lap 1, lost a pace or 2, and then, got it back. And then it was a no man's land. I literally saw nobody the rest of the race for me. It was very boring. I deserved to finish 5th. I will take finishing 3rd.
Yeah, because you could tell definitely through your pace you were building speed as the laps went on, and obviously you might say you deserve to finish 5th, but podium's not bad. Any shout outs?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys, of course, for being in the booth. Thank all the admin staff for putting this together. It's awesome. Great group of people to race with week in, week out. I want to thank my sponsor, the Midwest Kidney Warriors. Great group of people. Great organization helping people with resources and tools to help people that are battling kidney diseases and stuff like that. So really proud to get this back on the podium. It's been a minute. We deserved to be on the podium last night. We didn't get there just due to a fluke racing deal. And tonight, a racing deal that looks like got us back onto the podium. So karma worked both ways, I guess, tonight. We'll take it. And then we'll look forward to, hopefully, we're not in the championship fight. We're just going to go to try to win go win next week.
Everyone always shares a win on the oval at Indianapolis. Good luck next week.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, I'll bring on Alex, and this is going to be the painful one. Hey, Alex.
Hello.
Yep. Hey, Alex. Ryan and Gary in the booth. Have to say, before we ask the obvious, you did have a great race today. You drove really well up until the end. Talk us through what happened that final lap going into turn 1.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. Just locked up the rears and that was it. I hadn't had a hint of that the whole race. So I don't know. Okay, actually I see what happened. My left rear tire was at 47%, so that might have caused it to. I probably hit a cliff that last lap and it caused something to happen. But yeah, I don't know. It caught me totally by surprise. But I'm still happy with the result. I drove really well. Other than that, had some good battles. Nick was probably quicker than me overall, especially on the primaries in that first run. But I got the track position, got a solid qualifying, and still got a podium. So can't be too upset about that.
Yeah, you had a good day, and it wasn't an issue just for you. We noted in the booth before the race that turn 1 was going to be an issue, and for a lot of people, they seem to consistently push wide through turn 1. Did you think it was going to be that problematic going into the day?
No, I knew it'd be the danger zone, so to speak. It's just so inviting, and that curb is huge on the inside. If you catch that and there's somebody on your outside, they're in trouble. And you just got to be careful there and really be not overdrive it. And so I had a couple moments, especially early in the race, but once I got on the red tires, I was really able to find a lot of consistency all the way around the track and start to put in some not the fastest laps, but fast enough and consistent enough that I was able to stay ahead all the way up until the end.
Yeah, and like you said, you got a podium. So, any shout-outs?
Big thanks to everybody at Power Sled Motorsports, obviously iRacing Paints, and thanks again to the league for just letting me jump in for a couple of these. Obviously can't run full time, but just here to have fun.
Yeah. Are you going to be joining us next week for the season finale on the Speedway?
Maybe. We'll see. Not sure yet. But,
okay. Well, if we do see you next week, good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Congrats. All right, let's bring up Nicholas here. And he is here.
Yeah. Hello, Nick. You're here with Ryan and Gary in the booth. Unexpected, but certainly not undeserved. You're tonight's winner. Did you really expect to, you were in contention for the win the entire race. I have to put that forward, and you drove an incredible race. Did you think you had a chance at the win when you took the lead?
No, I honestly I couldn't believe it. Alex is a very consistent, fast driver, and I didn't expect something like that to happen to him like that at the very end. I was listening to him just now, and yeah, maybe he hit a cliff with the red tires, and because I knew towards the end, especially watching Brody at the end of that first stint really drop off, I knew the reds got bad towards the end of the run. So maybe me staying out that one extra lap on the first stint just allowed me to have enough tire not to have anything crazy happen. But I feel like I would have been in contention for the win with Alex. I think I had a little bit better strategy. I was able to save a little more fuel, therefore had better tires on the last stint. That thing with Brody happened. I dropped back a bunch. I ran him down as much as I could, but I just kind of ran out of time. And I guess I'd rather be lucky than good any day.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that I saw it coming, but I did mention to Gary early in the broadcast that when everyone has to run a one-stop strategy, when you take that one stop is very important, and maybe going that one or two extra laps will matter in the end, and seemingly it did.
Yeah, I mean, really, my thought was just the fuel. I didn't want to have to do any fuel saving on the last stint, so I figured since I was behind Alex on the first stint, getting the draft the whole time, I could save a lot of fuel and just make so I could push the second stint, and I was looking good to do that. I was going to be perfectly fine, and I just came up on Brody with 2 or 3 lap better tires, and you always have to leave it to space.
Yeah, and that must have been an interesting incident to see happen in front of you.
Well, it happened to me.
Oh,
right.
Very, very understandable. Any questions, Gary?
No, I do not. Just trying to save my voice, but man, congratulations! You've been a great week as always here on the network. Of course, I know you got a number of shout outs, and of course I think hopefully the girlfriend allows you to make up for last night's poor finish for tonight's win. So go right ahead.
Yeah, she said I'm very lucky.
Okay, you are very lucky.
Also, hot tea with lemon and honey, Gary. That's what she.
I have been downing that left and right, my friend. I have been, and my voice is better than yesterday, but it still requires some time. But man, that is an awesome tip, though. Lemon and honey is the bomb when it comes to a bad throat.
Yeah.
If you ever need an extra voice in here, I can get her on Discord.
All right. Well, there we go.
Anyways, thanks Gary and Ryan for broadcasting this, and Gary fighting through your voice issues. Really appreciate it. You not taking any time off and leaving the people not able to watch. The TWR team, they do a great job. Great finish to Nate. Matt had a good night. Good group of guys to work with and kind of work together and figure out our strategies and the bar settings and all that. Of course, the Revolution Indy League and Schaeffer's for putting all this on for us, give us somewhere to race, and good finish this week. I think we'll probably be looking pretty good in the points.
Just to point out, you are the new points leader.
So 1 race to go, Indianapolis. Anything can happen, so I'll just have to do some math and see what I need to do compared to others, and hopefully we come out of there with 4 wheels, 2 wings, and a championship.
Yes, and it's going to be an interesting finale next week. So unfortunately, I won't be here, and you can't replace me next week because you're in the season finale.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll let you go here. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week on Championship Wednesday. Hopefully with myself with a better voice, and you looking at a possible first series championship.
See how it goes. You guys have a great night.
I see you. Here. Have a good one. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right, I do have a graphic, and I just sent the graphic to you, Ryan, so we could show this to everybody up on screen. Here are the final points, and I'm going to blow them up a little bit so they're a little bit easier to read here. This is just directly from the scoring site. So you see that Johnson will go into next week with a 17-point lead over Bruno Miranda, 45-point lead over Caleb Bency. And I think I don't think there's really any more than 45 and 50 points available on a race weekend, really. So I don't think Dakota has a shot at the win. He might have a shot at getting on the podium. But he is 77 back, 88 back for Schaeffer, Sanders 94 back, Houston 109 back. Not bad for the boss man in his first season in the league. 138 for Coogan, Sidra 153, very quiet, 153 back, 194 points for Sidra there total. And JJ Wang, a very quiet P10 in the point standings there as well. So that is the point situation going into next week. To save my voice, your thoughts?
My thoughts, I won't be able to be on commentary next week. Unfortunately, I'll be on assignment covering the actual IndyCar series in Portland. Though, I will be watching. It's going to be a race to remember, a season finale on the Speedway Oval. And we have 3 drivers who are mathematically have a chance to win. Even outside that, people can jump their way up in the top 5 in the standings. And as you know from watching the Indianapolis 500, oval racing on the Speedway is incredible and unpredictable. And you don't know when someone could run high in a corner, end up in the wall, and walk out of the Speedway on 0 points and put their place in the standings in jeopardy.
One thing that we haven't really talked about tonight is Schaeffer Oil. Racing is in their blood. It's what they love. At Schaeffer, their racing products help racing teams spend less resources on replacing parts and changing fluids and more time out on the track. Check out SchaefferOil.com, where you can search for the nearest retailer today or click on their link in the broadcast description below. They are the title sponsor for the Revolution Indy League's Schaeffer's IndyCar Series. I want to thank them very much tonight for continuing to be the title sponsor for this season and beyond. We did not get a chance to look at next season's schedule. We will look at that again next week as my voice sees fit. But we want to congratulate our podium and especially Nicholas Johnson on his win in his championship Wednesday next week. So don't forget to join us right here at Race First. Like, share, subscribe. We certainly appreciate you watching. We'll catch you next week. And as I like to say before we get out of here, thanks for watching, and to all the men and women serving in the military and its first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Thanks again, everyone. Catch us next week when we will crown a series champion in Indianapolis for the next race of the Revolution Indy League's Schaeffer's IndyCar Series. Good night.
And we made it.
And we made it, yes.